Claude Skills, AI skills, they're blowing up. There's literally over 1 million people searching this on a monthly basis. There's a lot of information as far as to like, oh, here is the Claude skills that I created. Go ahead and copy them. That's not what we're here today. We're not here to do that. I want to go deeper. I want to show you why skills matters, not just how to make them. And I want to back this up with something real. So let's take a look at this. This is an amazing article from IBM. You might have heard of May 22, 2026. Very recent. How to standardize AI code generation across your development team. The article is really good, and I will welcome for you to read it. I'm gonna link it down below for you here. But I wanna just fast forward a little bit to a very important section. Why AI agents need explicit rules. I'm talking about skills. I'm not talking about rules specifically, but this applies because as it does need rules, it needs the skills also to make sure that all those implementations sort of become rules. This whole 3 paragraphs are very important, but this paragraph right here is worth the whole article. Without properly configured rules, AI agents become unreliable team members that require constant supervision. This is the main problem that is happening right now. When you're not setting up rules, when you're not setting up skills, you become a babysitter. Okay, an AI babysitter. With the rules, they constantly apply project standards without manual oversight, making project level rules essential infrastructure for AI-driven development. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for things that get applied consistently without the manual oversight, so we can get these rules pretty much embedded into our AI. I invite you to read the whole article. It's very good. It talks about how, you really need a lot of oversight from the members itself, and just about AI slop in general. Very good read. But that's definitely, that paragraph in itself is worth the whole article. Now let's go back to a little bit of an older article here. This is from November 19, 2024. This is from Medium. This is Chris Force. Thank you, Chris Force. Thank you so much for doing this. Coding standard for agents. And even though it's from 2024, it's still very relevant today. And there's a key section in this article that I want to show you here that talks about human collaboration, human AI collaboration. What are human engineers better at? And what are AI agents better at? Important. Human engineers, remembering the overall design and the architecture. We know what we're going for, right? Remembering and correlating details across source files. We might know where some of the files are and everything, so we know how to correlate all of it, right? Judging the right separation of concerns and levels of abstraction. Experimenting with recently released libraries. Important. Identifying improvements to future-proof code for added features down the road. This is part of the babysitting. This is something important that you have to do. That would be a good rule to add, right? Picking technologies and libraries to use for unusual requirements. If you haven't heard about Context 7, you should watch other of my videos because I talk about it. And this is how we fix that one. Identifying refactoring opportunities to increase efficiency. All right. Now, what are AI agents better at? Speed of development. You cannot write as fast as AI. Typo-free development. Not only you cannot write as fast, but you will make a lot more mistakes while you're typing it. Okay. Knowing every API of every library that it is in common use. Super good. Especially if you're using Context 7, they're even better at this. Writing hardened login, error handling code and documentation in first draft. Quickly understanding contracts and module interfaces by inspecting the source, including all boundary conditions, executing refactoring opportunities. And we could go on and on this article and understanding the difference in between both and how can we be better at what we do and how can we have AI better at what we do. But let's go into the web app that I'm building. I'm right now currently working on a request from one of the Web3 communities. They have come to me for help and they want me to work on this. So this is currently a project that I'm working for one of the Web3 community leaders. Let's call it a directory, just for the simplicity of the matter. What's important for you to understand here is that for me to be able to build something like this, I need to make sure that before I start building it, and this is when we come to think about how are we implementing the skills on the project and what is it that should be a skill and so on and so forth. If I come to the project and we start building it and working on it, I need to understand very much so what are the tools that we're going to be using. Now, most of the time, or when you're building a web application, there's something that you're mainly going to need to use. And that's gonna be Next.js, most likely. If you're gonna be using React, that's included in there. If you're going to be building a website or some sort of web application, most likely that's going to require a database. So in that case, We might be using something like Supabase, or we might be using something like Supabase that use some type of PostGIS database structure. Now, because this is in Web3, this requires a couple of other extra things that might require access to wallet through a crypto wallet, access to NFT APIs, right? And because we are using a directory in a way, we need a map, okay? Now, all of these things, I know about them. I know how to manage them, but my AI doesn't. What am I better at? Just like this article was identifying for us just now, I'm better at correlating details across source files or product, or the general product itself, the general idea of it, right? So understanding all of that, I know all of that. So now what I can do, because I already know what the project is going to require, now I can tell, hey, Claude, what do we need? We need to make sure that you are an expert in these certain things to make sure that we can actually go and do it. And instead of me having to, every time that I build a web application in general, even if I'm just going to use React, if I have to tell it every time how to use React when I'm building a website, it's going to take a lot of time for me to do that literally every time. If you're building websites every time and you're using Claude to build a website, or any AI that you're using, because any AI that you're using today can get skills embedded into it, then you're going to understand that you can embed that skill into that AI that you're working with, so that way you don't have to continue to repeat yourself every time you're going to build a new website. We come and we let them know what's going on. We let them know that we want a skill for Next.js Full-Stack, front end and back end. Okay, we let them know we need a skill for Supabase, for WalkMe and Rainbow Kit. This governs the complete SIWE authentication flow. This is for wallet identification and connecting. Okay, Alchemy for the NFT API. This is just to make sure that we get the APIs and we understand what's going on that side. Mapbox, just so it understands the whole map in general. And mobile first, to make sure that not only is good at the front end and the back end of building the product itself with Next.js, and most likely using React in this case, but I need to make sure that it's also mobile friendly. So that's also a skill. Is it coming to make sense to you right now? You see where I'm coming from? So what does it do? It sets those skills up. This is the skill that's set up for Next.js Full-Stack development. Directory structures, usually how the project is scaffold in general. Server versus client components, API routes, EMV structures, providers. Who am I getting the information from? React, wallet connections, wallet UI, authentication sessions from Supabase providers. So see, it's already also integrating even some of the things that I know is coming up. Are gonna be coming up, right? So this is that one skill for Next.js. Now we have the skill for Supabase and PostGIS. Read the skill before writing any schema. RLS, row level security. This is super important. RLS, if you're dealing with any database and you're not adding RLS, row level security, you're going to get hacked right away, right? But you're not building the project. The AI is building the project for you. So you embed the skill into it and it understands all of this. I'm not saying that it doesn't know right away, but if you don't install a rule, if you don't install a skill, you're going to get one result this one time and you're going to get a completely different result the next time that you do something similar. And then you're going to have to repeat yourself a lot. So this is my takeaway for here, for you to really embed in your brain. Anytime that you're building a project and that there's tools that are embedded into the use of the project itself, most likely the use of the tool itself should be a skill. So keep that in mind. I want to make sure that you stay connected and that you stay ahead of the game with everything that you do, because it's very important for me that not only that this is a skill that you can do yourself right now today, and I'll be more than happy to share these skills with you. So if you want to go ahead and comment below that you want some of these skills, and I'll go ahead and share these files with you. I have no problem doing that. But what I really want you to do is I want you to understand how to come up with those skills, because once you understand that and why they're important, then you'll be able to come up with them and you'll be able to have them there forever. And you can pretty much even bounce them around from AI to AI. Make sure that you understand where we're all coming from with skills. And I know for sure you're gonna be ahead of 90% of the people that are using this. I hope this works out for you. I'll see you in the next one.